the delay. Seems like every time we try to get one going, something it's one thing or the other every time.
Yes, sir. Unfortunately, we're trying to get a little bit better on this side of it here too. So let's.
Yeah, we're tech geniuses basically, so we just wanted to throw that out there a little bit. So welcome to our live stream. Looks like we've got
Rainbow
cow and crab. All right. Hello from North Carolina. Hey, awesome. We have a shop over there now. We're out in North Carolina. We'll talk a little bit about that, about our new offices there in North Carolina. We have, we see you, no sound.
It might be old. It's still showing they were live there too.
Yeah. All right, give us just a minute. See if we can get this figured out here. We got everything turned on there. Check.
It shows us coming across there.
Yeah, shows us as we have audio input.
Working good, what it says.
All right. So
awesome.
we have sound now.
Awesome.
Hopefully that's going to work. Cody's a genius.
I do what I can.
So yeah, we want to talk just a little bit. Rainbow cow and crab there. We have opened our office in North Carolina. We're really excited about that. We've got Rob and Bradley that we've added to our team, and they're guys over there. So we're really excited about having them. We're offering turnkey in North Carolina and South Carolina, and then we can offer shell packages essentially in 10 states now. We can offer shell and kit packages in 10 states. So the turnkey aspect of we've got a house that we're building in Tennessee, that we're getting started in Tennessee, and then we've got one that we are working on in Florida that we're really excited about. So their turnkey in those 9 states are going to kind of be case by case basis there, but we are welcome to taking any questions. We want to trying to look and see what we've got coming across. So let's. Anybody has any questions that we can answer for you, or anything we can help you with?
Yeah, we're going to wait a couple more minutes to get everybody on here too, because we had obviously a little screw up on the front end, but yeah, nonetheless.
So we are revealing. We hit 100,000 subscribers on our YouTube. Yeah. That's pretty exciting for us. I have to admit, I may or may not have watched my phone nonstop for a few hours Friday night, and then Saturday morning, rather than get up and start my day, I grabbed my phone, which is not always normal, but wanted to see, and we did. We hit that 100,000 mark early Saturday morning, and we want to say thank you for that. We've been working towards that. It's exciting for us. We had a little 100,000 subscriber cake today. We had a little celebration in the office.
Yeah, I guess we did, didn't we?
Yeah,
very,
it was pretty
fun.
good. Red velvet though, not my favorite, but red velvet cake is what we had. But I still may or may not have had a piece of that. But we've hit 100,000 subscribers. So one of the things that we did was we said if we hit 100,000 subscribers, we were going to reveal a cost breakdown of my house.
Yeah, I actually saw that video earlier.
Yeah,
or start of it there too. So
we got to
tomorrow.
We got to preview that one a little bit. I have not seen it yet. I've had kind of a busy day. I have not gotten to preview that yet, so I'm excited to see that one. But we're going to walk through and talk in my house about what it cost to build, and talk a little bit about what we did that were upgrades, and then what we do that were, what would be considered cost saving and things like that. And then at the end of that video, we're going to reveal pretty much what it costs to build that house right now with 1845. So we've got our first question. Do you do turnkey anywhere in Texas now? No. The immediate answer to that is no, not anywhere in Texas. We do still try to hang or kind of stick with our 90-mile radius of Hallsville, Texas, and about 60 or 70 miles from College Station, Texas. So we're still sticking to those. We are constantly and always, I think I can speak for Cody too, we're always looking for other areas that we can build in to try to expand that radius. But it's not as easy as it seems to just say, hey, we're going to build here now, right?
Yeah, Texas is such a large state, man. It's really, it's actually faster, I think, from here. We talked about that last time, to go to Chicago than it is to drive across Texas. It's such a large state. So, in the central western part of Texas, Odessa, Midland area, contractors are incredibly expensive depending on how the oil field's doing. And but most we try to cover where we're at, obviously in Northeast Texas, and we're trying to move a little bit more Central Texas, in the Huntsville area, the College Station, that area there too. We're hoping to move down more into the San Antonio area very soon, but it's just part of the process, man. Just a little work towards that.
And we do offer now shell packages. I know Turnkey. The question is about Turnkey shell packages. We do offer quite an extensive range there, all over Texas and other areas. So as far as Turnkey, we have to stick with our radius where our contractors can go, but shell, we can expand a little bit further than that. I actually had a meeting today with a couple from Magnolia, Texas, down near the Houston area. And I believe they were about an hour and 15 minutes or so from our College Station office, I think, total. So we were going to talk to them about Turnkey, maybe a shell, things like that. So again, it's kind of case by case. We look at where you're located, even though for College Stations, for instance, I know talking to Rocky down there, 60 miles for him or 70 miles from him could be 2 hours worth of driving. So that kind of plays a factor in there. So we like to talk to customers and get an idea of where we're going to be located and the actual drive time and things like that are going to affect the cost and availability of that build.
Why don't you go over a few of the videos we have coming up? What's your video the last week or so?
Okay, so we've had a really busy week. Woo, here they all come. All right, so we've had a busy week with videoing. Last week we've got some really good ones coming up for you. We've got the cost breakdown of mine, which is the Addison. Was really happy to do that one. That one turned out really, really well. And we have the bird's nest that I've had several people message me or call and ask about the bird's nest. That we did a preview video of that one a while back. Beautiful monitor style barn dough that we've got there in Atlanta, Texas. Yeah. And we were able to go in last week and do the final walkthrough of that one. Super great couple. Loved working with them, and the house turned out really, really beautiful. You're going to really want to see that one. And we have one that we're building here locally that we're trying to follow pretty closely as far as the how-to series that we're wanting to get going. So we're trying to talk a little bit about, we did some footage of plumbing, rough-in plumbing. Yeah. We did some footage of dirt work, slab, and all that so that we could follow that one. And we were able to go in last week, and they finished the wood framing up. And it's going really, really fast, but we were able to get some video and follow up. So that one's probably 2 or 3 weeks away. But yeah, we've been really busy getting some video and excited to have some videos coming out in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
We do have something happening soon. Can you hear me okay? Looks like it's okay. Happening soon in the Hallsville area. We have an actual housing addition. We're actually building a barn dough community, as you want to call it there too. Not a lot of land necessarily. They're meant to be kind of a small to mid-size homes, 3-2s and whatnot there too, but they're going to be a full community of barndominiums that we're actually started the road today, and we've got two of the builds actually formed up right now. But what's cool about that is I had the idea of allowing our social media community to help pick out selections, pick out the floor plans and whatnot, and we're actually going to let the YouTube and TikTok and all the other stuff, they're actually choose what our selections are. So we're going to have an actual. Go ahead.
See if it plays it.
Yeah, thanks, Charlie. So coming soon, you're going to have Charlie got a new toy, so he likes to press buttons now. But soon we're going to have just within the next month, we're going to have an opportunity for you to pick out what you want on the house, see on the house. We're going to follow the build from literally digging the footings, putting the rebar in, to all the way to the end where we're actually putting on cabinet knobs. So it's going to be pretty cool on that side, but we'll allow you guys to kind of build it, pick out the selections and stuff. So I thought it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that's going to be really good for if you're a kit customer with us. You'll be able to kind of see. I get a lot of questions about, what's the process, how the wood framing ties in, things like that. And so that's going to allow us, it's really close to the office here. So that allows us to do an extensive video series with it about, how we build our houses, how we build our barn doors, and how we tie in wood framing and just the whole step-by-step process. So I want to go back up. One in Love Lady. Where was that one at?
Right there.
JN, is that Goodrow? Is that what that says? In
so.
Love Lady. I know exactly where Love Lady is. I've coached a few baseball games there. One of the worst whoopings I ever took as a baseball coach was in Love Lady, Texas, when I was in Wells, Texas. And that's about 105 miles. So just a little bit out of our turnkey radius, but definitely could offer a shell package or anything like that. And, we can talk about how far into that shell we could actually go for you. So not completely out of our range as far as us being able to offer a package there.
We're going to have to work on the TikTok stuff too, because there's a whole different set of, they don't merge right there too. So let's hit on that one there too.
Okay.
As far as the Love Lady there, we're right in the, just outside of our range there too. However, we can offer a full build there too. It's not cost effective for us to do it there as opposed to here locally there too. If you want to work with us, we want to work with you, but there is some extra expenses in that, unfortunately, just because of the time and the guys we use. We have to travel, and we lose a day or 2-3 hours a day traveling back and forth, along with our project managers there too. So we'd love to work with you. It's a little more expensive than it would be if it was a little bit closer. Yeah. So let's hit on a couple of these here. Jeff Aldman, 13 acres in Northeast Georgia. Our desired build site is on a gradual slope. Can your barn dominium be built on a walkout basement? If so, what engineering issues have you accounted for? We actually have a build that has a walkout basement on it. If you've seen it, I think they call it the Taj Mahal.
Yeah,
one of our guys here. We built that for him there too. So we design all of our builds, go through an engineer, whatever's there too. In that situation right here too, we would have dirt boring. We'd bore your location there too. And actually, being in Georgia, we would actually get engineered foundation for your foundation as well, along with the house part there too. So we would actually do bore tests. We'd have to look at the compaction test, the PI, all that other good stuff. So we would actually look at the build site, do the proper testing there, and then at the end we would actually design it for there too. So as far as engineering issues to be accounted for, so the type of dirt you have, the type of soil, how rocky it is, where it's at, all that other good stuff there too. The building is not that big of a deal. So the building is, we can kind of build it wherever. The foundation is a little bit bigger deal on that side. So we would definitely need to hit that up there too. But we're located in North Carolina, so a couple hours from you there too. But that's pretty much, we would actually go to your site, do the proper testing there too, and determine what you wanted to do. But again, the walkout basement is not over the top a big deal, really. It's just something we'd have to plan for, just a little more planning than it is if it's a flat surface without the basement. So built in Louisiana, we built several in the western part of Louisiana. We're not too terribly far from Shreveport. We actually have one we're finishing up in Grand Cane, if you know where that's at. I've done several over the years in that general area, Shreveport, a little south of Shreveport a little bit, that area too there. So we do work in Louisiana. Love our Cajun brothers over there.
And our guys from North Carolina we kind of cross lines there, because if we go too far south, you're out of our range, but those guys have some contractors that they know in that area that can work there as well. Eric Perez asked, I'm going to go ahead and answer it. I know it's wanted to know about modifying plans. And absolutely, we can modify plans. A lot of times we get stock plans or even plans that people have come in that are very similar to one of our stock plans. And we can take those. And a good example is the one I was talking about that we have here locally that we've been videoing, was originally a Laredo that's 1,800 square foot. And we took it down to 1,500 square foot. So they've got 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, 1,500 square foot with an attached breezeway and shop or garage, whichever you want to call it. So easy to modify those plans, and that's a real simple step. We would start with just purchasing plans, getting modifications, and getting to work for you. So I'm going to take the Missouri one.
Good.
And hopefully I won't overstep here a little bit. But Angie, we actually had a conversation about this a day or two ago, maybe Friday. and talking about, one of the areas that I would love to be able to work in. I'm from Arkansas originally, and one of the areas that I would love to be able to work in is that North Arkansas, Missouri, Nebraska, Oklahoma. We were talking about that whole central area there. And so we would love to do business in that area. Of course, we can definitely ship a kit to you, but we would love to be able to find contractors, in that area. That's something that we're always looking at ways to expand and open up more opportunities. So who knows? Keep fingers crossed. Maybe in the future we'll be building homes in Missouri and Northwest Arkansas or things like that. All right, Dale, on an 1,800 square foot building, 4-bedroom, what size building would you recommend? So 1,800 square foot. I mean,
yeah, that's kind of at the minimum. I would probably go in a 4-bedroom. That makes your room's pretty small in comparison. But over time, I have people, and especially on our YouTube channel, it's funny to me. People always have opinions on how we do certain things, and I try to remind people, 99.9% of our builds are custom builds. So if we do a thing a certain way, not quality wise, but as far as the size of the room or where we put it, where the room is, where the placement is there too. Most of the time, it's gone through a lot of thought with the homeowner themselves, what they want to use it for on that end. So 1,800 square feet is kind of the minimum. I would probably want to go on that route, but I would, definitely something you could do. We have a couple of plans that are probably a little bit bigger than the 18. I mean, less than 2,000 that have the 4-bedroom in it. But we recommend really finding something that you like on our site. Getting one of the starter packs that are really inexpensive, that's close to what you want, sketching it up, and we can actually take it to the next level, do the planning for you, do the engineering for you, even stamp architectural plans in other states. We're doing that. It's just we're in the early stages of doing that. I'm not really advertising that yet because it's such a task to do that. But we do engineer in other states for as far as the architectural side, and but that's where I would start. I would just start getting a plan that you like, whether it be one of ours or somebody else's, and sketching it up, man. Get your pad out at night, and y'all kind of go over it there too and send it to us. Then we can definitely do that there too. I did see another question I wanted to talk about on TikTok. I saw there too. So yeah, Chris Diddle, we do steel. We do some interior. A lot of times we do a stick build on the inside, but our exterior is actually a pre-engineered metal building. So we do all steel on that side. So
I'm just asking about framework.
Well, no, he actually talked about it was the Florida question. So how does your ground condition change on how you lay out the foundation, like in Florida?
Oh, okay.
So Florida is its own world on how anything is done. We probably get, other than the states we're in there, Tennessee, Texas, the Carolinas, obviously. Florida is probably number one or number two in actual calls we get about building there too. It's such a state that's really kind of on fire for barn doors right now. So, like I mentioned before, we are a custom home builder for sure. So, the reason we offer kits and stuff like that at previous builds is just to try to guide people towards what they may or may not like without having to kind of start from scratch, because it's a daunting task for a lot of people to build your own home when you've never done it before. So. I've told Charlie the Laredo, I've probably built that, 20 times. And I stopped doing custom plans with that one there too. I would just show, hey, do you like this one here? And they'd say, oh, I love this with a couple modifications. So we build that a lot just with some other modifications. So in Florida, based on what coast you're on, based on where you're at there, based on what your city government requires, what all is taken into effect. Can we build in there? 100%. It's not overly complicated. We just got to know what your restrictions are, but we can stamp your drawings, do your building, your foundation, all that other stuff here in Hallsville for what there too, and get help you get started there too. We actually have a job that we're really, really early on in Florida.
Yeah, that's if they're watching, I'm not going to try to butcher their last name. They have an interesting last name, but we have one
right?
in the Sarasota area there.
So we're going to do a turnkey in Sarasota with some friends of our partners out there in Carolina. It's going to be an awesome build. So I'm really looking forward to showing y'all that process through video once we get that thing started on that side too. So Florida is something that I definitely want to get into here in the future there too. We have such a large collection there too, but Florida and their permitting and engineering is just a little bit tougher than other states. Not that it's an issue; it's just a lot more legwork than most things.
I'm going to elaborate a little bit on that Florida issue. When, I went over
not
to
an issue. We like Florida.
Not an issue. You're right. Not an issue.
A little more work.
The topic of the building in Florida, and one of the things that stuck out to me when we were meeting with the couple over there, and they don't have land yet, not sure exactly where their land's going to be, and the permitting process. In Texas, it's not that big of a deal, not much of a strain there, but they had to. Every county was different.
Yeah.
And so basically Rob told them, okay, I need you to give me 3 counties that I can start working on to try to get permitting. And if we can narrow it down to those 3 counties, then that'll make things quicker.
Yeah.
But it just kind of blew my mind that, man, it's so intense there and it varies from county to county that they had to try to narrow it down so that we could start that process as soon as possible because it was going to take such a large amount of time in the whole build was just to get building permits for the entire project.
Yeah, it's funny. So city government and how that works really determines a lot about how we do things. So when you have a disaster like you have in Florida sometimes and with the heavy winds and stuff, it's a lot more heavily regulated than it is here in East Texas. Nothing wrong with it. It's just the process itself takes longer. Same thing in New Orleans after Katrina happened there too. The whole state of Louisiana changed on the contracting laws. And so it's just we have to kind of go with the flow, man, with whatever it is there too. But I do my best to try to be realistic with people and not give them expectations or tell them something that it's something I can't do. There's some builders that you got to connect it. It's not going to work on this.
It's not working there.
We'd have to download that other part.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's what I have it on my. You can pull up your phone and look at it.
I don't have TikTok. I have to. My wife won't let me get TikTok or Facebook. I spend too much time on those.
So anyway, man, it's just like anything else. We try to give realistic expectations of what we can do and do all the other good stuff there too. Austin, San Antonio, we are.
You going to tell them?
Well, we're working on it. San Antonio is we're hoping coming really, really, really soon.
Yep.
So,
fingers crossed. We'll talk a little bit more about that at a later date, but that's going to be an exciting venture there.
Yeah, for sure there too. Yeah, North Texas, North Dallas there too. We're not currently in that area there too, just because of mileage. Not an issue to work in that area too, but again, just the mileage. We can do kind of the exterior and that part for you without an issue, but the actual turnkey, man, it's really hard for us to be ultra competitive in that market there too. So to answer your question, Eric, there, but again, big. I'm in Dallas all the time. We go to see Mavs games all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a huge Mavs fan. Ready for the playoffs.
Maybe.
No, we're
at
ready.
least, yeah, that first series will be okay.
So,
what do we got on TikTok?
Yeah, so Middle Tennessee. We do build some in Tennessee there too. Yeah. We have a project we're going on in the Nashville area. That's Rocky. Rocky's going to build me a 60 by 60. That's good.
Awesome.
Yeah. So we're building a project in the Nashville area.
Have we revealed that one yet?
No,
we have not revealed.
We have lots of stuff we haven't revealed, Charles. It's a little annoying.
Yeah, we've got a lot coming up, so we may have to talk a little bit about that. We have a beautiful build. We have the one in Florida that I've told Cody's probably one of my favorite designs overall. But the one in Tennessee, that's going to be a really big one. You guys are going to be really excited to see that one.
We're not, but y'all are going to be very excited.
Yeah, right? we're not excited about it at all. But it's going to be a beautiful build. We've gotten in touch and we got in connection with NFL football player, former NFL All-Pro tight end.
Three-time Pro Bowler.
Three-time Pro Bowler. In the Tennessee, I'm just going to say Tennessee. I'm not going to say where.
Already said Nashville.
Had you say Nashville area?
I did.
Okay. So in the Nashville area, and I'm telling you, this is going to be a beautiful, beautiful build. I am very excited about getting this one. We're close to getting it started.
Yeah.
We're finalizing some of the initial permitting things and trying to get concrete and things figured out. And then we're going to get started on it, and you guys are going to love it. It is going to be a beautiful area, and it could be showing up across some other platforms, maybe. We'll be able to give a shout out here and there, but we'll reveal that one when the right time comes. But it's going to be a beautiful build. We've got a lot coming up. It's an exciting time for us with our social medias.
Dale, but yeah, you mentioned that again, Dale. So
Okay.
100K or less, man. So, you know, the metal building part of it there too. I feel that's what you're asking about. I mean, that is possible to do on that end too. But as far as the finish out, man, that'd be really tough to finish it out with there too. As far as the 100K or less, you know, as far as the way we build barnuminiums, you know, a lot of others are similar. The finish out really is not really any different than you would a traditional stick and brick home as far as that goes there too. So you're not saving a ton of money doing a barnuminium on the inside as well. So if you do pick out something elaborate and all this other stuff, you're not saving money going to barnuminium. You're not getting it less expensive. The savings is big open areas. The savings is pre-finished paint on the outside, more efficient as far as the build there too. Higher wind load, achieving that higher wind load more economically. But again, if the finishes outs are crazy or just even average there too, they're not any different than you would on a stick and brick. So 100K sounds a little tight, man. Honestly, there too.
Kit package, yes.
Yeah,
that's what we're saying. As far as the shell of that or the kit package for that, yes, 100,000 for sure. I wanted to touch a little bit on Eugene's.
Yeah.
There said Rocky's going to build a 60 by 60 and 30 by 60 as my living space. Any suggestions for me on my build? One thing that's a common question with you're going to have some garage space, so you're going to have a 30 by 60 garage space there or shop space. One of the things I would say is make a determination or determine what you're going to do as far as interior finish on your shop area. Yeah. You've got some options there. That's something that we discuss with homeowners. You can do painted OSB there on that wall. That gives you a lot of customers like that because it gives them the option of hanging things. It gives them something to actually screw into and attach to. But liner panels are also a really popular,
inexpensive.
Inexpensive. Yeah. We just go directly to the steel framework there. Yeah. You can go up. We've got a permanent 8-foot that we can attach to, or we can go all the way up. Yeah. Just depends on what you want to do. But that's always in a steel building like we build. We do not typically sheetrock or finish out the interior of a shop or garage unless a homeowner specifies that. We've had some that come in and ask us about that. If we need to sheetrock it, then we've got to basically turn it into just like the interior space where we've got a wood frame and do sheetrock there. So the most common that we get are either just OSB that we can paint or we can leave unfinished, or we do liner panels in there. Yeah. But I kind of want to start. I want to have Cody and I have a discussion a little bit about 2-story versus 1-story, because he knows, because that's one of my favorite topics and a question that we get a lot. I've had it twice in the last week, and talking about, do I go up? Because a lot of times when we get like a 60 by 60 like that, the question is, well, I want to put a loft area up there. I want to maximize garage space, but put a loft area up top and things. And there are some factors that come into play there as far as the height of the building, floor trusses, how much is that as finished space. And I'm going to segue that into our podcast. We are setting up to get started with our Barndo Channel podcast that we are going to be airing. I'm going to say probably in about 2 or 3 weeks, we'll be ready for that, to get that thing up and going. We're going to get some episodes recorded and get those ready. But I think the first topic that I want to cover, and I've told Cody this probably a dozen times now, the first topic that we want to cover is out versus up. What are the pros and cons of single story versus the 2-story Barndo, and what are going to affect the cost of that build and the efficiency of that build if we go out versus up. So that's something that's coming up. We'll be doing I think we're going to do a bi-weekly, twice a month podcast episode where we'll be 20 or 30 minutes or so on that. So we hope everybody will join us there. But we've got a lot of topics. I have a ton of things that we want to cover there. All right, so Eric Perez is back. Since in North Texas.
He was the Dallas area.
How long can the shell stay up without the elements harming the structure before starting on the interior? Okay, so if you were to build a shell, how long can that shell sit or be unoccupied before we'd have to do interior? And that's
indefinitely.
Yeah.
There's not a time, man. Essentially, the outside of your home is complete when the shell is up. So you're in the dry. So it'd be really easy to put the shell. That's why we offer the shell. You put the shell up, man. You pour your foundation, lay your foundation. I had an engineer correct me one time that he said, you don't pour concrete, you lay concrete. So I would, you could build it up there too, man. You're in the dry, doors, windows are in, and you have a big open box essentially that you can kind of take your time, on that side as well too. So it would be very, very simple to do.
Yeah, and a lot of people take that approach. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I really am.
No, you're not.
I have a bad habit of that. Sorry, but a lot of people take that approach of, hey, build a shell for me, and I'm just going to build it at my own pace. I'm going to DIY it at my own pace as I can. That's not a bad idea at all. We're welcome. We love to help you with that. But like Cody said, that shell is going to stand the test of time for sure. You can take your time as long as you want. My only suggestion would be exterior doors, because a lot of times with a shell, we don't always have exterior doors included with that. So if you know that it's something that you're going to kind of take your time and DIY it, then make sure that you include exterior doors in that shell so that you can close everything in and protect everything on the interior.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so yeah, we're providing a custom pre-engineered metal building. So if you're a metal building erector and you'd like to, work with us some there, man, give us a shout at sales at Team 1845. That's always a good way to get a hold of us there too. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we're providing a fully bolt up pre-engineered metal building that we give you the perimeter for the anchor bolt plan, get the foundation done. You put the shell up there too, man, and you're in the dry. So it's good stuff for sure.
Don't tell my wife I'm uploading Facebook, putting Facebook back on my phone. I'm going to get in trouble.
Oh yeah.
Trying to check comments and everything on there.
Yeah, I think we're getting everything but TikTok. It's showing everything that's there.
Okay.
So yeah, so work at home, building a barn dough. Yeah, you did it on their own because of lack of help to hire. We have a good friend of mine. I'm sure he's not watching. I'm sure he's got better things to do. But I had lunch with him today, and he lives in the Kansas area, Wichita Falls area, a little north of there. And he told me that much better. He told me that man, that's more comments that we're seeing.
Yeah, it's our Facebook. We got a lot more on there than what we're seeing, so we'll hit some of those. You go ahead.
Yeah, so he just told me, he said, man, I can't get a contractor anywhere, and that makes it really tough to want to build your dream home, and that's really frustrating, I know, but that's why we take the approach of, man, we can get you started, we can sell you the kit, or even put it up for you, help you with the foundation, and if we do that, we can get you one step closer, and then you can take a little bit more time on the finish out.
All right, so I'm going to take a couple of questions that we're getting on our Facebook feed here. One is, I think it's Cammie Bledsoe. Do y'all do custom floor plans? And the answer to that is yes, we do. So we do modified plans. You can buy one of our plans online. That's what's up.
John.
Oh, yeah.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, man. You can so online we have our stock plans. Basically, if we have built it or shown it on YouTube, we have stock plans of those there that if you don't want any modifications, you can purchase those there. We have 3 different packages, really. We're getting ready to add a modified package in there. But you can buy a stock plan there. But if you want to modify that plan, you can contact us, reach out to us, and let us know what modifications you're wanting to make, and then we can start a process with you of getting that taken care of.
You want to talk about that just a second as far as, a lot of the states. We had somebody call in, I think last week, that was in Nevada, and actually I saw a comment on a Facebook group that had bought one of our starter plans, and they had wanted to hire an architect to actually do some stamped architectural drawing for them, and they were asking like $15,000 for that, and kind of that process itself, and what we're actually providing with the plans, what that actually means.
Okay. Yeah. So when we're offering, we've got a couple of different things that we can do a preliminary set of plans where we don't do a full set of construction set. We don't do that very often at all. But if we provide a full set of construction plans for you, let's just say you bought a stock plan of a Laredo floor plan or the Blue Bonnet that you saw online, then we would send you, what you're going to get in that package is you're going to get the dimension floor plan.
Yep.
And with that, we've updated our plans to denote steel wall versus wood framing so that your local contractor can easily read those plans and get measurements and things off of that. So we're going to have a dimension floor plan. We'll have 4 exterior elevations that will have window dimensions, door openings. If you have wainscoting, we'll have measurements there, but 4 exterior elevations. And then we're going to provide electrical setup, So we'll have electrical renderings there, and we actually do those in basically 2 different sets. We have fans and lights in one, switches and plugs in the other, and then we do a full plumbing layout schematic there for your plumbers. So the one thing that we do not provide in a full set of construction plans, because we have so much diversity as far as where we send these and where we ship these to, we do not put a full foundation plan in that set of plans. And it is only because we can do a foundation plan, but we would need to get a soil sample from you, and there's steps that we would have to take to actually be able to provide that. So it's easier for us to not include that. It's not say easier, but it's probably the best thing for us to do is not include that, because we don't want to lead you in the wrong direction or lead you astray or anything like that as far as the design of that. So you would need to get the foundation plan done locally, but once we have erection drawings or anything like that, then you can get that foundation plan done pretty quickly. So
yeah, and we can help you with that part there too, depending on where you're at in the U.S. You know, I understand, man. You know, part of the barn dominium, I think people, there's so many people that have built their own and finished out their own home, which is awesome for a lot of people, man. I'm excited for you. That's the way I started myself. You know, I was a metal building erector. My dad was, and started the business there after college. And I learned to build on my own stuff, right? So I learned how to do it on Turnkey. It's capable, man. It's something that you can do. I don't fault anybody for doing it there too. However, I say that there are a lot of things that you will learn through that can be really costly. You know, you are saving that contractor fee, which is not a bad thing. But you tend to take a lot longer than what you wanted to and spend more money than what you thought overall, just because of contractor pricing, not knowing the thing to ask, not knowing the right order or what's there. But we definitely, I'd never discourage anybody from doing their own build. It's not a bad plan at all, man. That's what we all learned. Will, you asked about how long does it normally take to have a turnkey built? That's a good question. So you have to look at a couple of things, man. You know, with barn dominiums, a lot of times we're building on a location with a lot of land, or maybe it may not be level or whatever it may be. So if I tell you the date, say it takes about 5 or 6 months to build, that's after we have actually got the foundation done and ready to actually start building. There are times, man, when this time of year when it rains every other day, it feels like that it'll take weeks and months sometimes to get the foundation and the earthwork done. And so the clock starts as far as the 5 to 6 month time frame whenever we actually have the foundation done or ready to pour. But it's really hard to say, well, a build's going to be, you know, in 8 months, because if it takes forever to do the actual earthwork and it rains and all this other stuff, like I mentioned, our new addition we're building there too. We've been sitting on go for about a month now at that place because it is so wet there. We have to lay down some lime to stabilize the road before we actually pour our road there, and that's been real frustrating. But you know, I can't change the weather. We got, I think, like 8 or 9 inches last week. Yeah. It's really hard to do.
And we've got more coming this week.
So
Yay.
Yeah.
But you know, to that point as well, once we get, I've seen our builders, our project managers are awesome, because I've seen some of those builds that once they get inside, once we get that building up and they can control the timeline at that point in time, we've had where 12 weeks. We're handing keys over. Yeah. You know, we get the building up, and then after 12 weeks, we're handing the keys to them, and they're moving in. So
I'm gonna talk about that a minute on the turnkey side, since you asked that too. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about our infrastructure, and we're actually in the process of updating our site to tell a little bit more about us. So we actually have internally 6 full-time builders that actually are project managers, builders that actually follow the process from the day you do your spec sheet with Charlie or with Jonah or whoever it may be. You actually sit down with them, you meet your builder at that time, and they go through the plans with you and whatnot, and then they're not assigned to you, but they work with you to finish your build. And then they have, we have a project manager over that named Jason, and Jason's got 1 million years experience in building. He's built all over the southern part of the United States. I'm sorry, the southern part of South America, North America, a lot of experience on that side too. So not really much Jason hadn't seen. On the home building side, as far as that goes, then we have our head of that department would be Ben, but that's just the home building side. We have another building, another location about 5 miles up the road that we do our fabrication, we do our engineering, we do our detailing, we do our material stuff. So we have a couple different things locally there too, but we have a whole team to help you. It's not really just me and Charlie.
That's right.
We have people we're training all the time to become, not people. We have people that are training to become better salesmen for us that are just transferring from one department to another. But we have teams to go through this entire thing. So it does take time because we do get a ton of calls and it does, but we'd love to help you out whatever way we can. And if you're wanting some advice, man, I never fault anybody from reaching out. You got some more questions?
Yeah, we've got a couple more. I wanted to elaborate just a little bit more on the custom floor plans. So we talked about if we did a stock plan, we can modify those stock plans. But if you want a full custom plan, we had this discussion this morning. And so this is a great question because we actually talked about this in the office this morning. You know, we would always say, yeah, we'll do custom plans for you, no problem. And I tell you what, it's hard sometimes to just say, okay, tell me what you want. Let's draw it from scratch and let's go from there. So what we have kind of started doing and implementing in-house is we can do custom plans for you. And we're more than happy to do that. That's why we have our own drafting team so that we can provide that. But it is very important for us that if you have a custom plan that you want to draw, we need you to provide us something to base it off of. So instead of just saying, hey, let's just draw it from scratch, if we can get a plan online, even if it's not one of ours, it does not have to be one of our plans at all. I advise customers, find a plan that checks the majority of your boxes. It doesn't have to check all of them. Not very many floor plans do, except for the one that you design. But find one that checks the majority of your boxes, send that to us and say, hey, I want this custom floor plan. And you may be surprised because we may actually have one that's very similar. Yeah. And so you're not talking about a custom plan. It's just a modified version of what we have. So we do custom plans. We do stock plans. We do modified stock plans. But probably the best piece of advice is find a floor plan that you like. Does not have to be one of ours. Find one you like so that we can have something to start with. The question that we had, which of y'all's plans are less than 300,000 turnkey in East Texas? So one thing about I'm going to answer that question as best I can. One of the things that I'm excited about on our website is, what do you think the number one question that we get asked every day?
What's it cost? my favorite's YouTube, and they're like, you're a bunch of scammers. You're revealing your price. I'm not selling a car, dude. Yeah. But it makes me laugh, the amount of response we get on that side there too. I've said it one time. I've said it 800 times there too. It's a custom house. If we're building spec houses, which we're going to build some, and we're going to reveal everything you want to know on pricing, it's not a secret there too. But if somebody's building you a home and you have personal information, you have what you spent on the house there too, you would not want somebody to go in and reveal all that to you. So out of respect to our customers, we don't give out price for that particular house. We're going to start, like you're fixing to say. Go ahead.
So on our website, what we're going to start doing is we've been working for, a couple months now on developing kind of a starts at price for our kit options, our shell options, and our turnkey options. And so we've worked through that, and I believe we've got almost every plan that we have online. And bear with us, be patient with us, because we are working on a website right now. We're currently getting everything updated there.
I think it'll be ready at Friday, though.
Okay, hopefully Friday. You will be able to go to our website, and instead of seeing plans, kits, and all these others, you're going to basically have a floor plans page. And when you open up, I'm looking at Will's here, he's saying the Sykes or the Chandler plan. If you pull one of those up, it's automatically going to show you the kit would start at X amount of dollars, which is before taxes and shipping. Of course, we don't know those, obviously. The shell package, phase one, if we were to just do dirt, concrete, and put the building up for you, would be a starts at price. And then a turnkey starts at price. Now, that starts at price is one of the big things that we kind of can't judge there is dirt work. There's some factors in there that we have to find out after the fact, but it's going to give you a really good idea. If you click on that button and say, hey, I'm looking at the Sykes plan, it'll tell you, hey, that's going to start at this much. It's probably going to be around this much for you to build it. And that's
locally.
Locally, that is correct. Yeah. So I'm looking at Will's, and he's talking about the Sykes plan and Chandler plan. And when you go online and you see that starts at price for those, that is he's in Florida. But if you see our starts at price, that is here that we have built that plan. Yeah. We have built it. So we can kind of cost it out and tell you what it's going to cost or what the starts at price for that is. And we'll give your wife some time. The Sykes and Chandler are both beautiful. We're actually, the Chandler barn dough, we are actually building a second barn dough for
Oh, yeah.
them
Yeah.
in Chandler,
Yeah,
Texas.
sure
So
are.
we're building barn dough number 2 for them. That's going to get started not too long from now. They're putting a pool in right now, and then we're going to put a bunkhouse in there next to that house. So we're excited about that. Both of those are beautiful plans. But on the 300,000 mark, I think we don't have a lot, to be honest with you. We don't have a ton of them that are going to be under 300,000.
Well, and part of that too, you know, we were actually having a meeting right before we started the podcast or the video cast. What is this called?
The live streaming.
Live stream. About that there too. So can you build one under 300? 100% you can on several of our plans there too. However, that doesn't mean you get to pick out whatever you want to on every single part of it there too. You have to go more cost effective on your flooring, more cost effective on your cabinets, on your showers, on your cabinets. I'm sorry, I already said cabinets.
Yep.
On your countertops. It's not that you have to go low end at all there too, but you are limited to your selections there too because of the actual cost. I can tell you to the penny what the shell's going to cost you, the wood framing, all that other stuff really easily, the drywall, but you can't have a bunch of accent stuff to keep it under that price point. Whenever I first started, I say first started, that's probably a lie. When I started doing a lot more of the barn doors there too, I really allowed people to get really imaginative on how they want to do their inside stuff, where it would be Corval countertops, where it was laminate, whatever you wanted to do. And I let them kind of pick out their own thing. If they wanted to go to Lowe's or Home Depot and pick out their own cabinets, I let them really try to pro shop their stuff as much as they could, which is not a problem with that. It's just really hard to get an actual good pricing when you're trying to hit a low price point there too. When you don't have a good budget, I'm sorry, not a good budget. When you have not a good plan. So if you take some time and research your most cost effective cabinetry and your countertops and all the other good stuff there, you can hit that 300 number. It's just part of it there too. So I got a couple more I want to hit on. Will 2 to 3 months dried in. The Sox plan is a little bit bigger than the Chandler, I think, but
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably a little 3 to a little bit more than 3 on those two.
Yeah,
those
3
are
to 4, I would say.
Yeah, on those there as far as dried in there too. However, you do the job, you do the build, Will, and you spend your time, man, you and your wife, and do your due diligence and get everything picked out and planned early, and everything's on time. Man, you can hit those times.
Yep. You got some from TikTok.
I do have a couple that I'm gonna hit on real quick. One is, how did you get a barn door financed? Great question. A lot of areas are still.
Actually, that's going to be an episode on our podcast.
Okay.
We have one of our local banks that's going to come in and talk to us about that. Sorry to interrupt again. Yep. They've agreed to come in.
So, depending on where you're at, the real estate market for barn doors is not any different than a traditional home, traditional stick and brick. It's not any different on that end at all. So it's really about getting comps if you're not paying cash and making sure that area is there. So that is something that I would really just look at really where you're at. If there's any barn doors in the area, that's something that we're fighting a little bit in the Carolinas right now, getting a good comps there too. But we're making that happen on that side. Bearded Dad, good name there, bud.
I can't grow a beard, so.
Are your barn doors red steel? Yeah, we do red iron steel on our stuff there too. I say that we have one really large build that we're getting close. We're actually doing trim and paint right now. That is a hybrid. That is steel frame. We did a zip system type wall on that, and it turned out really nice. It was just the type of build that we were doing and the type of panel they wanted. So we do a hybrid, but our structure itself, our superstructure is all red iron steel for sure. Spray foam or regular insulation. We do both. It's just more about where your area is at. We're going to talk about insulation a little bit in one of the podcasts.
Yep.
That the actual energy code is evolving and changing. Some people may realize or don't, but I'll tell you because it's really boring. Depending on where you're at, there's energy code from 2009 all the way up to 2021. Right now it's out, the federal energy code. Now you only have to abide by what your county or city has adopted. So if you're in an area that's still using the 09 energy code, you actually have to abide by that one. And it's progressively getting more energy efficient as time goes. It usually takes 3 to 5 years for a city to adapt or adopt an energy code. So the 2021 energy code is a doozy. So they're changing the insulation from, I think, zone 3 or zone 4. I don't remember which one. I think we're zone 3. Zone 4 is kind of middle of Tennessee north, and then zone 5 is north of that there too. It's changing from like R38 in the ceiling in our area to R49, which is a ton different there too.
That's a big jump.
Walls are staying about the same, but they're changing pretty drastically on that side. So, for instance, on the spray foam question, like in that particular build, I've already started working towards getting that R49. We're probably going to use some vinyl, a couple inches of closed cell, and I think 7 inches of open cell to achieve that R49 there too. And I'll answer one more that you could hit a couple that says, do they hold up during a hailstorm or a tornado? So another government rule on that side. So we use a minimum of 26 gauge panels on what we do there too. Metal really is 22, 24, 26, 28, sometimes 29. 29 is more of an agricultural panel, in my opinion. But 26 are heavier. They are all considered, even 29 is considered what's called a class 4 impact, which the highest rating the government puts out there on that side too. So we put the highest rated there is as far as insurance looks at it on that side there too. So it will withstand hail all the time. It's if you put the proper roof on a metal building or a home with metal roofing that's a thicker material there too, it is really hard to damage it. However, like anything else, if you have 9-inch hail, it can damage it. Tornadoes, they handle tornadoes really well, in my opinion. Not in my opinion, as far as what our wind rating is. So that handles that. That does a good job on that.
We actually have a pretty good story about that of one that we built. So some of you have seen the video of my house, and I actually had a couple that built my house, my floor plan before I got to it. And probably a month or so after they moved in, maybe a little longer, they actually had a tornado come through their property and do some serious damage to the property. And he contacted us and told us, hey, you guys need to see this. Like, this is amazing that they were able to sit in that house and trees ripped apart. I mean, the whole property was torn up and the house had zero damage to it. So he was very braggadocious of, man, he couldn't believe that they were actually able to sit in there through that tornado and watch what was going on around them. And they were sitting in the house and, safe as could be.
Yeah. We're not promising that it will survive anything in history of mankind.
Correct.
But as far as a traditional stick and brick, we have a lot higher rating than most of those guys there too. And it's one thing too. So it's easier to achieve that rating with steel versus stick and brick. So if you're in Florida or on one of the coasts there too, or in the Gulf, captures lots of those winds from hurricanes or whatever, or even tornadoes in some areas. We have tornadoes here. It's easier to achieve that high wind rating than with steel versus wood. It's less expensive for sure.
Okay, so I'm going to take one, Montgomery, Texas. I've got to scroll back up here. Marilyn Brzezinski, I believe. Montgomery, Texas is in our radius. That's only about 50 miles or so from College Station. So yes, ma'am, you are in our build radius. We would love to hear from you. So feel free to go online and check out our website. We actually have a contact form. So those of you that don't know that, if you're interested in starting with us, whether you are in North Carolina, South Carolina, one of those 9 states over there, or you're local here in Texas, you can go to our website, go to our Get Started page, and fill out a contact form. And that message will go to both of our offices. So if Rob needs to reach out to you, he will. If we need to reach out to you, we will. But please go in there and talk to us and let us know what you're wanting to build. Oh, there they are. There's the Facebook messages. But yes, Montgomery, Texas is inside of our build radius. And another one that I wanted to touch base on is I see Laura.
That's it right here.
Yeah. What is the best time to do stained concrete, before or after framing or after the pour? That is a very good question.
It depends on who you ask. If it's the guy staining it, he's going to tell you before. If it's the guy that's building the house, he's probably going to say after there too. So really, your stain guys, in my experience on that side too, your concrete is very acidic, as most people may or may not know, but you really need to wait a certain amount of time. I think 28 days, 30 days for the actual cure to happen there too, before you actually stain it, for it to sit properly. It is much easier to have a big open area. You can stain it a lot faster than having to go around a bunch of wood frame walls. So we actually stain later in the process. So we actually get the building erected, start the framing, and do the stain after the framing is done there too. I wouldn't say it's better or worse, but if you do it early into it, you have to cover the floors. You don't want anything damaging them, which is really tough to do sometimes. Very, very tedious on that part of it there too. So it makes it a little bit easier on our, not easier, it's just kind of a trading one for the other. So that's what we do on our end on that side too. We actually wait until to stain until after it's done. Actually, staining is one of the last things we do on our builds there too. So the floor is really clean, and stain concrete, not one of my most favorite things in the world. People have, I've studied concrete and all the other stuff as far as understanding cracks, and it's hard to because it is a man-made product, and it is depending on the time of the year, how wet it is, where you're at in the country, what temperature it is, how far you're away from the batch plant. It's going to turn out different every single time. There's no guarantee. It's not like you're buying a product like a luxury vinyl plank where it's guaranteed the same color across every single time. So it's kind of one of those things that as long as people understand it, it's a great product. We do it all the time, but it's not a guaranteed look on that side too. So that's the answer to that. So, but yeah, and Justin asked about that too. Can it be incorporated into a turnkey? 100%. Yeah, the design's not a big deal. That's part of actually you actually get it discounted off of the build if you do a turnkey. So you pay for the plans and design up front, and then it comes off of your overall price if you do a turnkey with us.
But on that, I want to, we do, one thing that we do ask you to do, that we kind of require, is we do pay for those plans up front. So if
it costs us to build them.
It's right. It costs us to actually design the plan. So we don't do those and then have you pay for them later. We actually, you're going to pay for those plans up front. And that's almost like our start button for the process, because everything that we tell you up to that point is preliminary.
That's right.
It's roughly going to be this much. It's roughly going to be that. But the second that you can give us, I had this conversation with a phone conference right before we came in here, and we're going to follow up with a meeting on Monday of, hey, okay, are we ready to push that button, or are we going to hold off, or what are we going to do? But the floor plans really, really start the process for us and really start narrowing down some things.
Yeah.
Good question. I'm sorry. Saw that question come up by Mr. B. Happy.
No, it's good. You want to answer that? You want me to answer it?
You go ahead. Epoxy versus staining is the question.
Yeah, so epoxy, I like epoxy a lot. I don't do a lot of it. We don't do a lot of it inside the homes there too, just because it's a little more industrial look. But epoxy covers lots of concrete errors because if you do it right there too. So we do lots of epoxy for in garages and in open areas like there too. It's a great product. People ask that a lot. A lot of people want to stain porches or stain garages there too. Staining is not a do it and you're done. There's a big misconception about that. They watch a lot of videos and how pretty it is, and you save all this money, you can do it yourself. That is kind of true, but you have to maintain it.
Okay, you keep. I didn't want to interrupt you.
You have to maintain it though. You have to reseal it. And I built a home for a couple, 8 or 9 years ago, and gorgeous sealed stained concrete, and they had a couple little dogs and the lady worked at home, and the husband was an over the road trucker, and she called me after about 6 months, and I told her that. I said, you're gonna have to refinish it. And you actually could see the dog trails where they ran all the time there too. It was like you see on your grass kind of, but we had to refinish it after, I don't know, a couple of years there too. So it's not you do stain and you're done with it. So it may be a little less expensive on the front end too, but if it bothers you to see a sheen difference in there, I would definitely stay away from the stained. But epoxy, again, is a great product. We do epoxy a ton, and again, more of the industrial setting. But you could do I've actually done an epoxy inside of a house one time. I don't think it's up on our website. I did it a few years ago there too. It was a gorgeous marble look there too. But good product. Just it depends on what look you're going for.
Okay, so we're going to take a couple more?
Yeah.
We've been here about an hour. We'll take a couple more. So I'm going to ask this one. I kind of liked it. What's your favorite 30 by 40 layout that we have? If you had to pick one of our kits as your favorite 30 by 40. So I'll kind of give you a rundown since you don't know the floor plans, obviously.
That's right.
You got McGarvey floor plan.
Yeah.
We've got a Ranger.
Yeah.
Our Raven. I would even say probably the Hidden Haven. It's about 1,300, but it's a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
So I would have to say the Ranger Ranger and Raven are very similar. Those are our most popular. I can say that. The McGarvey has a beautiful exterior look on it. A lot of people like the exterior view of that one, but the Ranger floor plan, the Ranger and Laredo are really, really popular. But Ranger probably is the number one. My favorite is the Addison. I mean, that's mine. So it's not exactly 30 by 40, but that is my favorite kit that we provide. Do you have forget about the 30 by 40. If you have a favorite floor plan?
You know, a lot of people have commented, not today necessarily, but through all of our socials over time, about how the original concept of the barn door versus what we build now. We're building more of a metal home than a barn dominium. That's a big shop / living quarters are smaller. I still like that concept a ton. The Raven is a great design, in my opinion, because you save the money on the design by having a big shop and the living quarters in one spot. It's a little less expensive to build than all the other stuff. It's a simple build, inexpensive design, but it looks awesome on the outside. People love the colors of the obviously the black there too. So
more modern look on that one.
I like that a lot, and so that's probably my favorite as of right now. Again, I love them all, Charlie. Well, how dare you ask me
How dare you ask that question? I forgot to mention, though, we were talking about videos that we have coming up, and we did a video in your house.
We did.
So that was a lot of fun. We actually, that was the first time really we've set up as looked almost like a Hollywood set that we had going on. We had lighting.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it was great. But it's going to be a really cool video of kind of looking at it from a homeowner's perspective of things that we would that Cody would likes and dislikes, the pros and cons, things we would change and things like that.
We talk about that a little bit during the podcast, during that part there too. So I built my first home, Turnkey, in 2007. I'd done some general contracting before and actually had done other things like that. My dad had too. So it wasn't the first time I'd done a fully like a general contracting job there too. But as far as a metal home that was fully turnkey, not just the shell, that was the first one I had done, coming up almost 20 years ago, and learned a lot there too. And it's funny now from what they cost now for what I spent in 2007. It actually is on the market right now, and it's actually selling for a lot more than what I would
than what you sold it for. Maybe
what I sold it for. But my home, and I mentioned that there too. So when I design my own home, we'll take bits and pieces off of other things we like and kind of go to where that's at. And my home's unique. What we have there too, it's a very large footprint. I think it's about 6,300 square feet. I have 5 kids at home. It's not just me and my wife. So, but I have kids from 6 to up to 20 years old, and hopefully they'll move out someday. But yeah, no, it's a cool site. We have a big open floor plan, a gigantic kitchen. We have a big entertaining area outside with a grill area, fireplace, all the other good stuff. So
you guys have family all the time.
We do.
You host a lot.
We host a lot. All our families, or most of our families, local, so it's good on that side.
Nobody wants to come to my house. No, we don't send invitations out.
I don't blame you. I've been there, I think twice, Shirley. You don't ever invite me to my house.
No, I see you enough. I hang out with you enough.
Yeah.
So I want to kind of throw something out here with our podcast. We are going to start podcasting here in a few weeks, and I would love to see. We want it to be more, I guess, our viewer led.
Yeah.
As far as what our episodes are going to be, and it's the design or the idea here is to be educational about what we build, how we build it. I know everybody's going to ask cost, and the last question that I'm going to cover here in just a second is about cost. Somebody asked about that, so we'll touch on that for a second.
Yeah.
But I would love to have on our future videos that you see, these next couple of weeks that you see videos, please let us know. Miss Cade, Miss Deborah is watching. Hi, Miss Deborah.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah.
Yep, we're getting ready to build for them, so I'm excited. But on these next videos that we have come up, please let us know what you would like for us to cover in the podcast. We're going to do it as a true podcast, but then we're also going to broadcast it on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
And try to be as informative as possible. And we are going to try to bring people in to talk HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and just not just us sitting here talking all the time, but we want it to be to help you literally from design to completion of that home, and try to go through the process with you and talk about, good things, bad things for you to know, how to work with the design and things that you should know during the build and the process overall. But are the podcasts going to be on a
Yeah,
regular basis?
John wants to be a guest on the podcast.
Yeah, we would love to have guests.
You going to be a guest on here, John?
Yeah, I've got a few homeowners that have asked to come on. I know we've got one down in the Alto area that would like to come in and visit. He actually said, you know, hey, because I'm now a barn dough owner. So I've built barn dough with 1845. We built my dream home. So to have he's like, man, I'd love to come in and sit with you and just talk as homeowners.
Yeah.
You know, what we did, what we would change. Because there's things that I see now in mine that I would like, man, I wish I'd have done that, or I should have done this or that. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's more of a kind of a passion of mine. I've been kind of bugging Cody, like, hey man, we need to do a podcast. I want to do a podcast, but I want to talk, if you're okay, I want to talk. Last one I'm going to cover is pricing, because that's what I do pretty much every day.
Yeah.
And so the common question is, what's the price per foot? And I'm going to take a page out of Cody's book, because Cody always taught me two different ways that you can look at pricing. And that is as like an appraisal or overall total square footage. What do we got?
214.
214 total? TikTok? That's awesome. Thank you, TikTok viewers. 214 total watching. We've got, what do we have, 30 viewers right now? We got about 37 viewing right now between Facebook and YouTube. But on the cost breakdown, I'm going to start with the disclaimer. These are average cost, okay? And I know that's a hard number too. Like, average is a loaded word there. But if I take a 2,000 square foot home with porches, and let's just say a carport, okay, that's kind of what I'm going to base this off of, because if I get a smaller house, it changes. If I get a bigger house, it changes. But typically, you're looking at somewhere between the $185 to $195 a foot for the living area.
What size house though?
So if it's it's tough, because if I'm looking at a 2,000 square foot house, I would tell you probably $185 a foot.
Yeah.
And if you had big open porches, which porches don't change that much, there's not a lot of variance in those, but you're looking at anywhere from 30 to 35, maybe even 40, depending on what you're doing there. And then if we look at a shop or garage, you're probably looking at anywhere from 50 to 60. Now, if I go the other way of that, if I say, okay, well, this is 1,000 square foot, then the price per square foot for that heated and cooled space is actually going to go up quite a bit, because I always describe it as lack of just open space, just where there's not a lot going on, like say a living room area or bedroom areas. Those rooms are usually condensed down quite a bit in a 1,000 square foot layout. So your actual cost per square foot of that build is going to be higher. You could be in the 200 to 215 range at that size house, just because there's not a lot of open space that's able to kind of bring that number down. It actually takes that number up a little bit. Porches and garages and things are going to stay the same, but I don't know how many times I've been kind of put on the spot with that. Like your video said it was $185 per square foot. And I always have to say, I understand that. I don't disagree with you, but that's an average. If you add cabinets to your laundry room, guess what?
Yeah, it goes
It's
up.
going to go up. I mean, if you add tile versus cultured marble, it goes up. And so
if you want to do a lot of really complicated math, we can make it really simple. So we could give you a price per foot for a kitchen, price per foot for a bathroom. And really, that's the easiest way to get really accurate on that, is if you looked at every room. A bedroom cost is X, a closet cost is X a foot. But again, we try to make it as easy as we can, man, and it's just hard. We're working with a customer today that we came to an agreement with on a smaller home, and it's going to be ADA and efficient, all of the other stuff, and it's a small home, and they're trying to spread that cost out to bring that price per foot down too. It's a little tough to get to that 185 number when it's that big, but trying to understand that there too, but. I tell people this all the time, and let's think about it like this: if you're building a 3-2, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, leave the porches and carports off. You have that, and you have a 1,500 square feet that is, again, a kitchen about the same size, 2 bathrooms. Then you do the same build that's 2,000 square feet. The footage is 500 square feet bigger, or 300, whatever it may be. Your price per foot can swing $30, $40 a foot.
A lot, yep.
Just because you're adding cheap space, you're adding room space, living room space, bedroom space, that's cheap per foot. But when you have, like in our little farmhouse, you have only so much room there too. You still have a kitchen and one bath, but it's the footage, it takes up, half of the footage is kitchen in there too. So we try to be as educated as we can there too, but it's just, there's a lot of variables with that too. So anyway.
Yeah, that's a tough one. Every time we can try to give those numbers. That's why we started doing the website like we're doing, where we're going to try to give you the starts at cost, just to give you an idea. Because in all honesty, some people the budget is nowhere near what we're looking at. I want this floor plan, but this is my budget, and it's not fun to have to say, well, that budget's not going to build that house. Mm-hmm. But we've always tried to be very transparent with everybody and up front, just try to be honest with you about what's going on there. But all right, you got any other ones?
Yeah, I got one more I'm going to hit on.
Okay.
We'll end it. And so we're going to do it again in a couple of weeks. Is that right? That's the plan?
Yeah, a couple of weeks. I don't know if that worked or not.
I didn't hear anything. There we go. It's a couple of weeks.
Yeah, every couple of weeks we'll try to get in here and do a live.
So Eric Warner asked a question. Gotta love Texas, right? So can you finish yourself as a general contractor without a license in Texas if you provide the shell? Absolutely, Eric, you can, as long as you don't live in a city. So Texas is very, very contractor friendly. And if you have cash and you want to finish out yourself, yeah, we could definitely do the shell and you do everything else yourself, as long as you're not in a city that's preventing that from happening. But Texas cares about two things. They care about the sewer system.
That's my favorite.
and if you drill a well, so because that's under the Railroad Commission. Other than that, they would prefer you obviously to be a licensed not a licensed contractor. There's no such thing as that in Texas. Not a true licensed contractor. But no, you can do it yourself, man. It's kind of the Wild West out here, which is good. But that's why you see 800 barnuminium builders that pop up out of nowhere, because you decide you want to become one, man. You become one too.
That's right. So now, can I elaborate on that for just a second?
Absolutely.
Because I actually had this conversation with one of our local bankers. And as far as contracting that yourself.
That's why I said cash.
Okay, cash, yeah. So we had the conversation because we were talking about coming on the podcast and talking financing, things like that. If you're wanting to GC that yourself, almost her exact words were, I don't know a bank that would actually finance a homeowner being their own GC.
That's right.
And so you're going to have a hard time if you're actually going to the bank with that, because the bank's going to say, no, we need to actually have some information from your contractor. And that's what we always have to provide to the bank, is cost breakdown, spec sheet, and a contract that we're actually going to build it so they can show proof of that.
And actually, if which we've worked with, I think most banks in Northeast Texas anyway now. But if it's a new bank, they'll actually want references and trade references and all the other stuff there too, which is fine. I mean, it's not a big deal there too. But again, I don't fault anybody for building their own barn door. There's 10 different channels on YouTube. I built my own barn door for $5 a foot and all this other good stuff. Yeah, man, you can save some money there too. But again, they probably don't go over, hey, we screwed this up, so we had to redo this. It ended up costing us this much money. It's just the real world, man. It's like it's your job. You've trained for years to get good at something there too. And the idea that somebody can do it by watching YouTube videos, probably not ultra realistic, but nonetheless,
it could happen. But all right, so we're going to wrap things up tonight. We've been on for a little over an hour.
Yeah.
We appreciate all of you joining us. Don't forget, if you have not subscribed to our channel, do that now. We would love to have you join our Barn Door channel family. Again, we're officially over 100,000 subscribers and climbing. We do have our social media outlets. We have TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and of course our website, 1845barndominiums.com.
Yep.
Our famous saying is, if you or anybody else you know is interested in starting the barn door process, we would love to help you make that dream home a reality from design to completion, and we mean it. We would love to work with you. But we're going to sign off for tonight. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. Stay tuned to the Barn Door channel, because we've got some very, very exciting videos coming up. I'm really excited about the next few weeks.
And what I'm going to make Charlie do, we're going to announce more than 4 hours before the actual live we're going to do. So you actually can plan on being there if you want to be there too.
That's my fault. I came in this morning and thought, hey, I better put a video out that says we're going live. So I will let you know at least a week in advance so that you can plan, and let us know time-wise if 6 o'clock is good, 7 o'clock, what's better. So we're just trying to get started on this. We want to make this a regular routine that we do so that we can inform and talk and answer questions with our followers. So let us know if this is a great time, bad time. Just let us know what we can do to help.